Let's discuss this intriguing idea. This notion that achievement and greatness may be attained by concentrating on a single goal and a single path. Doesn't the world love to sell you this story? The Titan, the singularly determined genius, is working on a single issue until the universe yields to their demands. It's an engaging story. Well, I'll give you that. However, let's remove the layers, shall we? Let's examine the true meaning behind this seemingly straightforward concept. The first thing I want you to do is focus on just one thing while feeling the weight of that phrase. Would you agree that it sounds almost militaristic, so adamant, so resolute? Similar to a general giving instructions to his soldiers. Focus all of your fire on just one target. And that kind of laser-like intensity is undoubtedly powerful. We often witness instances of it, don't we? The athlete who devotes their whole life to being an expert in just one sport. The painter who becomes fixated on one canvas. The researcher who spends decades poring over data in search of one elusive truth. But is that all there is to it? Is greatness and success only about focusing on a single predetermined goal, closing out the outside world, and tunneling relentlessly towards it? What sort of life is it, I ask? No matter how well lit, a tunnel is still a tunnel when one lives there. Yes, you may arrive at your destination in life, but what did you miss along the way? The unexpected beauty of a wildflower blooming by the side of the road, the wind in your hair, and the sun on your face. You know, this whole idea of unwavering concentration is frequently promoted as the secret to obtaining some kind of outside reward, such as notoriety, celebrity, or money. However, what if the actual greatness and satisfaction are found in how we spend our lives rather than in reaching a goal? What if the destination is the voyage itself, with all its turns, detours, and delicious surprises? Consider a river. A river doesn't simply blast on with the goal of reaching the ocean. It flows through any landscape. It veers off course. It winds over mountains and into valleys. It adjusts to the environment. It welcomes the challenges. And in the process, it produces something lovely, vibrant, and alive. And isn't living a life that is actually alive what we're all ultimately aiming for? A full, rich existence that is brimming with experience. Let's take a closer look at this concept of focus. What does the term focus actually mean? Does it entail losing sight of everything else? Does it mean losing sight of the wider picture because you're so focused on one thing? Narrowing your view isn't, in my opinion, the definition of true focus. It's about making it clear. Shutting out the world is not the goal. It's about gaining a clearer, deeper, and more comprehensive view of the world. It's about giving that moment your whole and undivided attention and being completely present in whatever moment you find yourself in. This is where things start to get interesting since, ironically, genuine focus and presence call for some degree of openness. It necessitates being willing to let go of our established beliefs about what we should be doing and what we should be accomplishing, as well as to just be present with what is. Imagine a Zen archer. He does more than simply aim the arrow at the target and let it fly. He creates a mental image in which the target, the bow, the arrow, and himself are all one. The arrow appears to fly on its own, led by something beyond of conscious mind, as he achieves a state of effortless activity. The real focus is on, my friends, a smooth, effortless flow rather than a stiff, forced concentration. And how can we develop this kind of concentration? How do we develop the ability to be fully present in the moment? Yes, there are numerous routes. One effective method for calming the mind and developing inner peace is meditation, of course. It's not the only option, though. Meditation can be any activity that completely focuses your attention and absorbs you. Cooking, gardening, making music, and even doing the dishes. It can develop into a presence-based practice if you do it with mindfulness and complete focus. Letting go of the need to do anything is crucial. Must give up the never-ending self-criticism and the never-ending striving. Simply focus on the task at hand. Feel the sun's warmth on your skin and the soil's weight in your hands. Listen to the tunes. Take in the beat. Allow it to pass through you. Taste the tastes, smell the spices, and enjoy every second. This level of intensity and presence is not a means to an end. It serves as a goal unto itself. It is the foundation of a happy existence. Ironically, it is frequently the secret to reaching the outside objectives we so fervently seek, because we perform tasks with a level of proficiency and inventiveness that is just not feasible when we are preoccupied with our worries and anxieties. This is because we are genuinely present and fully engaged in what we are doing. What about the idea that greatness may be attained by concentrating on only one thing? Is it a myth? Not totally. There is undoubtedly benefit to becoming an expert and refining your abilities in a single field. However, I implore you to think about the drawbacks of that strategy. The world is an intricately linked and complex place. Today's issues are not easily divided into several categories. They call for a comprehensive, integrated strategy, a way of thinking that can combine seemingly unrelated concepts and draw from a variety of viewpoints. When you narrow your focus too much, you run the risk of becoming stuck in a certain style of thinking or a certain perspective on the world. You lose the capacity to think creatively and to see things from new perspectives. Like a horse with blinders on, you charge forward unrelentingly, unaware of the hazards that lie on either side of the route. It is not possible to achieve greatness, true greatness, by mastering a single subject. It results from realizing how interconnected everything is. It results from having an open mind, a broad curiosity, and a readiness to try new things. Consider Leonardo da Vinci, the archetypal man of the Renaissance. Among his many artistic endeavors were painting, sculpture, architecture, music, science, invention, anatomy, geology, crafting, botany, and writing. He didn't confine himself to a single discipline or field. He accepted the entirety of human experience and knowledge, and he was able to accomplish such remarkable feats because of this scope of vision. Now, I'm not saying you all have to become into Renaissance women and men. However, I'm advising you to fight the impulse to become overly specialized and concentrated. Develop your curiosity. Investigate your passions. Don't be scared to take a different route. You can't predict where it will take you. The universe is a huge and amazing place with countless possibilities, you see, and you are an essential component of that world, my friends. You are more than a small part of a huge machine. You are a singular manifestation of the cosmic dance that cannot be replaced. So why restrict yourself? Why limit yourself to a small, cramped space? Finding your own unique route and a unique method to use your strengths and talents in the world is the real struggle and the real adventure. And I promise you that it won't be a straight line. The road will be convoluted, complicated, and full of unexpected turns. However, it'll be your route, and that's what really counts. Let's get back to this notion of success. What does success actually entail? Is it about getting rich and powerful? Is it about becoming well-known and recognized? Or is it something deeper, something more permanent? True success, in my opinion, has nothing to do with accomplishments. It's about the person you end up being. It is about the type of person you are, the way you live, and the way you affect the world. And concentrating only on one thing will not lead to that level of achievement or greatness. It calls for a more expansive viewpoint and a more profound comprehension of both the self and the environment. It necessitates a readiness to take chances, embrace the unknown, and grow from your errors. It calls for a certain type of bravery, faith, and love. As you can see, the universe is not an issue that needs to be resolved. To experience, it is a mystery. And the more we attempt to manage it, control it, or make it do what we want, the more we fail to see the big picture. Learning to let go, trust life's flow, and surrender are the keys to great wisdom. I understand that this may seem a bit contradictory. I've been discussing the value of concentration, and now I'm discussing the value of letting go. However, these two concepts are not mutually exclusive. They complement each other. Relaxed awareness is the foundation of true focus, a mental condition in which you are totally involved, totally present, and completely open to whatever comes up. Imagine a guitarist performing a solo improvisation. He isn't merely aimlessly playing his instrument. He is concentrated. He's paying attention. He is both letting go and reacting to the music. He's giving himself over to the music. He is following his gut. And the most exquisite, imaginative, and inspired music emerges in that condition of effortless flow. How can we, then, develop this effortless flow in our own lives? How can we learn to strike a balance between discipline and spontaneity, attention and surrender? Well, there isn't a simple solution or secret recipe. It's a process of experimentation and discovery that lasts a lifetime. However, there are a few guiding concepts that can help us. Developing self-awareness is one of the most crucial ideas. To understand oneself, including one's interests, fears, and strengths and flaws. To comprehend what genuinely makes you happy, what inspires you, and what drives you. Because attention comes easily when you are leading a life that is genuine and meaningful to you, when you are in alignment with who you really are. It's not necessary to force it. It's something that naturally emerges from within you. To foster curiosity, never stop learning, never stop exploring, and never stop asking questions is another crucial idea. Because you become more aware of how much you don't know the more you learn. And it's that feeling of awe and humility that keeps you receptive to new ideas, viewpoints, and ways of looking at the world. Lastly, and probably most importantly, develop compassion for yourself as much as for others. Treat yourself with kindness. Have patience with yourself. Because you are a human, not a machine, you should be able to forgive yourself. You'll make errors. You'll make a mistake. You'll tumble. However, that's all right. It is a step in the process. The important things are that you get back up, that you develop and change, and that you learn from your mistakes. You see, life's path isn't a race to win. The dance is meant to be appreciated. Additionally, the more we can unwind, let go, and trust the music's beat, the more completely we can engage in the dance. Therefore, let's avoid being overly fixated on the notion that greatness can be attained by concentrating on just one subject. We must not restrict ourselves. Let's avoid putting ourselves in a limited space. Let's enjoy life to the fullest. Let's investigate our interests. Let's develop our curiosity. Let us live bravely, with faith, and with love. And who knows? Perhaps, just perhaps, we may discover greatness while leading a complete and genuine life. However, we will have lived a life that is genuinely valuable even if we never become famous, wealthy, or well-known. A full, rich existence that is brimming with experience. And that's an accomplishment to be proud of, my friends. I like to go back to something I said earlier now. The river concept. As I mentioned earlier, the river doesn't simply trample its way to the sea. It moves. It adjusts. It veers off course. I think it's a lovely metaphor for life. Additionally, it draws attention to an important aspect of the concept of focus in general. The simplest route isn't always the best one. Sometimes the unexpected twists and detours are just what we need to learn, grow, and explore new possibilities. The river would miss so much if it made the decision. I'm going straight to the ocean no matter what. The wealth and beauty that the winding trail unveils, including the stunning canyons, the secret waterfalls, and the fertile valleys. Our lives are no different. We run the risk of being stiff, unyielding, and oblivious to the opportunities that exist beyond our limited scope if we get overly focused on one objective. We may even fail to recognize our actual purpose. Consider a moment when you were unable to find a solution to an issue and were pounding your head against the wall. What frequently occurs? You become even more stuck, irritated, and frustrated. However, what occurs if you take a step back, rest, or try something entirely different? The solution frequently appears when you least expect it, during a period of calm, openness, or release. That's the river's wisdom in action. It's the realization that sometimes the best course of action is to trust life's flow, let oneself be carried by it, and remain receptive to the unexpected. This is not to say that we shouldn't have objectives, though. That doesn't imply we shouldn't make an effort to accomplish our goals. It does, however, imply that we should be modest in our objectives. If the circumstances call for it, we must be prepared to adjust, veer off course, or even give up on our objectives completely. Because in the end, it's not about getting to a certain place. It's all about the actual voyage. It's about the people we meet, the experiences we have, and the lessons we pick up along the way. The goal is to become the most complete and genuine versions of ourselves. Furthermore, such development and change seldom occur in a straight line. It occurs as a result of investigation, testing, and trial and error. It occurs when we dare to attempt new things, go past our comfort zones, and question our presumptions. Therefore, we shouldn't be scared to stray a bit. We shouldn't be scared to get lost. Because often the best discoveries come when we least anticipate them and aren't even searching for them. We shouldn't be scared to change our ideas. Here is another hook for you to consider. What if the concept of greatness itself is a little bit of a trap? What if we are so preoccupied with striving for this unattainable standard of excellence to recognize the basic beauty of simply existing and being human? We are always surrounded by messages about achievement, success, and being the greatest. We are told that we must be remarkable, extraordinary, and exceptional. However, what about simply being normal? What about simply being who we are, with all of our imperfections? The mundane has a subtle beauty. The ordinary moments in our life have depth and richness. A child's giggle, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the aroma of coffee in the morning, or a chat with a friend. Life is indeed worth living for these reasons. However, we frequently ignore them in our unrelenting quest for something better. We lose sight of the now because we are so preoccupied with the future and our goals. We forget to be ourselves because we are too preoccupied with trying to be someone else and live someone else's dream. However, what if the real meaning of greatness is accepting our own common humanity rather than striving to become extraordinary? What if finding happiness and purpose in the everyday act of living is what truly defines success rather than reaching an outward objective? Consider a plain flower. If it's a daisy, it doesn't pretend to be a rose. In all its daisiness, it just blooms. It doesn't aim for excellence. It merely conveys its own distinct beauty and manner of existing in the universe. We may all learn to blossom in our own unique ways. We can learn to embrace our imperfections. We can develop an appreciation for the small things in life. The everyday occurrences of our lives can teach us to be joyful. This is not to suggest that we shouldn't work to better ourselves, hone our skills, and make significant contributions to the world, but rather that we shouldn't let the quest for greatness to become our obsession. In the end, life is not a competition, so we shouldn't allow it to take away our enjoyment of it. It's not a race. It's an adventure. Furthermore, the trip is more significant than the final destination. What really counts are the experiences we have, the people we encounter, and the lessons we pick up along the way. Therefore, let's relax the notion that greatness can be attained by concentrating on only one subject. Let us be receptive to the potential. Let's enjoy life to the fullest. Let's discover happiness in the everyday. Let's be unabashedly and truly ourselves. And who knows, perhaps we will discover something genuinely amazing while leading a life that is authentically us. We will have had a rich, fulfilling, and significant life even if we don't. And no one can take away from us that greatness, my friends. Let's now examine the delusion of control that frequently underlies this one-thing mindset in more detail. We seem to have a steadfast idea that we can control the outcome if we just work hard, prepare well, and focus hard enough. We have the power to change reality. But we are humbled by the universe, my friends. Unpredictability is a part of life. Events occur that are out of our control. Even the best-laid schemes can fail. We may encounter catastrophes, disappointments, and failures. What do we do when these things occur and the rug is yanked out from under us? Do we hold on to our plans, our objectives, and our control illusions even more? Or do we develop the ability to let go and accept the circumstance as it is in order to adjust and go on? Life is a dance between control and surrender, as the wise person knows. We must have objectives. We must plan. However, we must also be adaptive, flexible, and willing to let go when needed. Imagine a surfer atop a wave. The wave is beyond his control. He is unable to increase its size, speed, or perfection. However, he has the ability to read the wave, comprehend its force, and ride it gracefully and skillfully. He can adjust to the motion of the wave. He has the ability to change his position and even move forward by harnessing the strength of the wave. That wave is life. We can learn to ride it, but we can't control it. Instead of fighting against the natural forces, we might learn to cooperate with them as life unfolds. At this point, the concept of focus reappears, albeit in a slightly altered form. As I previously stated, true focus is not about strict concentration. It has to do with awareness of the present. It involves giving the task at hand your whole attention while remaining receptive to whatever comes up. We may see things more clearly when we are in the moment. We are capable of making wiser choices. We can adapt to shifting conditions more skillfully. Adversity can even present chances for us. Therefore, let's concentrate on regulating ourselves rather than attempting to dominate the cosmos. Let's concentrate on developing inner wisdom, inner strength, and inner serenity. Let's concentrate on acquiring the abilities and traits required to face life's obstacles with poise and fortitude. Additionally, we may discover that the cosmos starts working with us in unanticipated ways when we accomplish this. We may discover that synchronicities happen, chances present themselves, and things begin to fall into place. It's not because we have control over the cosmos, but rather because it seems to be saying, okay, you're ready. I'm going to help you. The reason for this is that we have allied ourselves with it. We've learned to be open to the possibilities, to trust life's course, and to surrender to the unknown. And that's the real key to success, my friends. Concentrating on being present, genuine, and completely alive rather than concentrating on one thing at the expense of everything else. It's about accepting life as it is, with all of its ups and downs, triumphs and setbacks, and pleasures and tragedies. Let me give you one last thing before I go. Don't hesitate to reinterpret what success and greatness mean to you. Don't let the outside world define you. The definition of the world is frequently superficial, materialistic, and ultimately disappointing. Living a life that is important to you, in line with your values, and that has a positive impact on the world is what it means to be great and successful. It all comes down to identifying and completely expressing your unique mission and contribution. It may have nothing to do with wealth or celebrity. It may not entail public acknowledgement, but it will entail inner delight, inner serenity, and a profound sense of accomplishment. And that is an immeasurable prize, my friends. So go ahead and experiment, explore, and find your own route. Don't be scared to veer off course. Don't be scared to alter your plan. Above all, don't be scared to be who you are. Your special abilities, viewpoint, and manner of being are needed by the planet. And it is magnificence in and of itself.